On this episode of the Cris David Show, we'll talk about scammers getting arrested and not getting arrested, Kamala Harris shutting down Hecklers, D'Angelo, Reading Rainbow, remember that? Colin Kaepernick, HBCUs, hazing, Wendy Williams, and as always, I'm dropping science. The Cris David Show starts now. Welcome to the Cris David Show. I'm your host, Cris David. Happy Friday and happy pumpkin spice season. Are you a fan of pumpkin spice? What about ice spice? 100 bands of Chanelli, chicken ass in the deli. I'm done, I promise. I'm not the biggest fan of pumpkin spice. They all taste like cinnamon and nutmeg to me. But I do like the flavors that come out during the holidays. This one looks good though. Hey, thanks for the feedback on the ASMR Lego show. That's something I always wanted to do, and I'm glad you rode with me with that one because I didn't know how it was going to turn out. How was your summer? Mine was full. Life's. What can I say? I started watching Doctor Who. Have you seen the new ones with Ncuti? Look, his time machine is way better than mine. He got 2 hearts. Who was up on the Jumbotron in 8K on the Summer Jam screen at the IMAX Planetarium over Weehawken and Lincoln Tunnel Helix approach this week? The Osefos. Fraud. We been new though. Shout out to all you DMV folks. And then they're smiling about it. Look at the hubris. I would say more about people like this, but we have a bunch of stories today. Remember when we talked about Essence magazine? Well, the story goes even deeper. Did you know that the current owner of Essence, Richelieu Dennis, was once accused of scamming a black theater? According to this 2011 article from DNA Info, 2 investors who were supposed to oversee renovations of the National Black Theater in Harlem instead used the money for their own businesses, leaving the theater in foreclosure. Richelieu Dennis and Neema Tubman reportedly used a $6.5 million loan intended for an overhaul of the theater at 2031 Fifth Avenue for their own soap and lotion business, Nubian Heritage. As a result, property taxes on the theater went unpaid, and the bank lender began foreclosure proceedings against the 43-year-old institution. The National Black Theater was founded in 1968 by Barbara Ann Tier as a venue for Black artists. Michael and Sade Lifcott, Tier's children, said, quote, "Our relationship with Nubian began with such promise, but quickly became an enormous drain on our financial resources. This group continually took advantage of our commitment to African-American entrepreneurship and our advocacy on behalf of our friends," end quote. Dennis and Tubman started selling their lotions and soap on the street in the 1990s and received loans from the Upper Manhattan Empowerment Zone to open a storefront and expand on the internet. They came in as investors in 2002 when the venue was in danger of closing. Back then, Tier sold them 49% of the property, and they opened multiple retail outlets within the building. Dennis and Tubman then used the theater building as collateral for a $6.5 million loan in 2006, and the bank foreclosed on the property after they stopped paying the previous loans. In April of 2009, Dennis and Tubman's Nubian partners signed a lease with Apple Metro, an Applebee's franchisee. The franchise was planning to take on a lease in the building where the National Black Theater was located. You all see a pattern? Tear brought forth the case in early 2008, shortly before her death, arguing that Applebee's did not promote the cultural integrity mission that the theater promoted, which was a condition she included when she signed the real estate partnership in 2002. A judge for the New York County Supreme Court, the now retired Justice Walter B. Talub, ruled that leasing part of the building to Applebee's would be a violation of the contract and that the Applebee's chain is not allowed to move into the building with the National Black Theater. A spokesman for the partners said they played no part in theater's financial woes and that the foreclosure was due to its own mismanagement. Since January 2018, Dennis is the owner of Essence Ventures. He also founded Sundial Brands, which was later bought out by Unilever, who owns a portion of Essence. They were ready to sell out a cultural institution to a freaking Applebee's, not a soul food or a Caribbean or African restaurant, 2 for motherfucking 20. I just have an issue with people who abuse the arts, especially Black art institutions who do not get the funding that they should in the first place. I mean, they straight Miss Cleo the theater. But shout out to the Lithcotts and the Faisons. The National Black Theater was rebuilt and is part of a recently rezoned special arts district. Man, rest in peace to Malcolm Jamal Warner. His death really got to me because he was just spending time with his daughter, swimming, and just got caught in the current and drowned. This happened in Costa Rica back in July. Water is very unpredictable. I call it wild water. You know, oceans, lakes, rivers, even a swimming pool can get the best of you if you aren't prepared. But wild waters have currents and undertows that you just can't see. We send our condolences to Malcolm's daughter, his family, and loved ones. Tuesday, we found out we lost D'Angelo. According to People, he had been in hospice care for 2 weeks after being in the hospital for months battling pancreatic cancer. Hailing from Richmond, D'Angelo, born Michael Eugene Archer, began playing the piano at the age of 3. In 1990, he landed a slot during Amateur Night at the Apollo, where he sang Feel the Fire by People Bryson. Although he didn't win that time, he went back to Amateur Night a year later to perform Rub You the Right Way by Johnny Gill and won first place. D'Angelo used his prize money to buy a 4-track recorder and began writing what became his 1995 debut album, Brown Sugar, which peaked at number 4 on the US Billboard Top R&B Albums chart, went platinum the following year, and earned him 4 Grammy nominations. D'Angelo's follow-up album, Voodoo, earned him Grammys for Best R&B Album, along with Best Male R&B Vocal Performance for Untitled How Does It Feel? After a few personal setbacks, D'Angelo released his 3rd album, Black Messiah, in 2014. It won a Grammy for Best R&B Album and was ahead of its time because if you listen to the themes on there, we're going through those exact same things today.
I know you grew up listening to Prince like me, so how'd you feel redoing his song?
I mean, well, just recently we did, I jammed with him. I got a chance to jam with him, like for the first time. We did he did a show at Jones Beach in Jersey, and we came back to a club in Tramps, and we did like a little jam session, and I told him that I was gonna do it. I was like, yo, I really want to do She's Always in My Head over. So, you know, it was feels like a blessing, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It feels good to be able to do it because he's such an idol of mine, you know.
And you shot a video for it today, too, in Brooklyn, New York, yeah?
Yeah, we're still shooting it right now.
Like, oh, really?
Yeah.
You just took a little break for it, huh?
Just a little break, but we got to go back and start. It's gonna be live. We trying to do like a little, like mini movie thing, you know? Wow. So, the director, he did Greedy Fly for Bush. So his name is Marcus Nisper. So we're trying to, you know, trying to take it to the next level. A
lot of people are doing that. They want to tell stories in the videos and not just have a lot of random visuals going on. They want to have a theme. And why is that so important to you to have that in this video?
I mean, well, it's just a lot. I guess it's a lot of the norm videos that's going on. You know, a lot of the glam and glitz things. So you know, I kind of want to get away from that and do something different. You know, plus for the movie is kind of ill and it's a horror flick, so we want to, you know, kind of ill people out a little bit with the video.
Yeah.
You know?
So the process for making soundtracks to movies, for people who don't know, isn't it that you get to watch the movie with no sound first?
Yeah.
And they tell you what the concept is, and then you create around that?
Yeah. Well, actually, we kind of went, you know, on and on about what exactly we was going to do with the video. I seen, you know, stuff that Mark has done. He's incredible with the visual. Like, you know, the same, like, cinematographer we're getting that did Carlito's Way and Shining, you know, True Romance.
So quality, yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, it's really going to be on some film thing.
Well, I just wanted to wrap 2 minutes about the Scream 2 thing. I'm going to bring you back in a little bit, talk to me some more about the stuff you're doing all over the place.
No doubt.
And thanks for coming to the show. Welcome to MTV Live.
Night, man. I mean, you're excited, nervous, what?
I'm just good to be standing here beside.
I just want you to know she's been talking about you all day, so I'm going to let y'all talk amongst yourselves.
I'm going to get you, sister. I have to say, all the ladies are jealous of me right now because this man is very sexy. Are you excited about the performance?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I'm excited to be here. And we're going to rip we're going to tear the roof off tonight, so.
What are you performing tonight?
Double Spy.
Oh, all right. That's hot. What are you looking forward to seeing?
Tonight?
Tonight, yes.
I want to see D'Angelo perform.
Girl, I'm with you because you know he's fine.
He's fun. He's hot.
Welcome, New York's #1 video show, Video Music Box on VJ Ralph McDaniels. It's a Friday night street party. Tonight we're behind the scenes of the new D'Angelo video, starring my man, King of Funk, Godfather of the Funk, George Clinton, as well as The Roots on the drums and a whole bunch of special guests. D'Angelo, behind the scenes. Friday night street party. We'll be right back. Video Music Box, Friday night street party. I'm VJ Ralph McDaniels. Of course, doing my thing behind the scenes of the new D'Angelo video, featuring actually Method Man and Redman, and of course the Godfather of Funk. You see him right there, Mr. George Clinton. And you know, D'Angelo is a study of the funk, and of course the new album's getting ready to drop, so you know how it's going down. We caught up with D'Angelo, George Clinton, and actually our own Kyla did the interviewing today.
Godfather. It's the real Godfather. No. Y'all got a mother. You got a mother there, brother. No. Go ahead. Don't stop till everybody come. Everybody got to come. I come from right here, yo. Right here, baby.
Hey, this is Kyla, and I'm here with D'Angelo, Mr. Sexy. Hey, so you know what? We've had a lot of anticipation about this album. What can we expect?
Funk and roll, sexy funk. I don't know, just a little more intense on the soul and on the funk, you know. Just rawed it out a little bit.
You know what? I heard that you learned how to play piano, but like on site when you were 4 years old. How did that happen?
Yeah, it was just one in the house. And I don't know. God bless me. I just started banging on the piano and just started making the sense out of banging. You know, pretty soon I was playing. You know.
Now, say me and you went on a date, right? You know, we were on a little date. Tell me, what would I expect from Mr. D'Angelo?
Romance. I don't know, nothing too fast. I'm an old-fashioned guy. You know, simple. I don't know.
Flowers.
Love flowers, whatever. You know, candles. Whatever, just with a movie or whatever, just take a ride.
Sounds What's your son?
Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, so you got that, that energy. I can feel that Aquarius energy.
Yeah, it's water. It's flow.
So what's the whole concept of this video?
Funked out, man. It's just like a funk experience, you know what I mean? And my music is going to a funkier side, so visually I just wanted to take it there, you know what
I mean, we've never seen this before. We've never seen the big hair.
Yeah.
You're looking like Neon, Rain Day.
Nah, I've been rocking my braids for so long, and it's like, yo, man, I just want to just wild out.
Video Music Box Friday Night Street Party. I'm VJ Ralph McDaniels. Kyle will be back with more from D'Angelo and the Godfather, George Clinton.
Hi, this is Kyla here on Video Music Box with Mr. D'Angelo. Now, I have to let you know that your body's looking a little tighter than what we do remember. So what you been doing?
Nah, I've just been chilling. I'm working out a little so. But you look tight.
Thank you, sir. Trying to keep up with you.
No, that's you. Blushing. Why you making me blush?
I'm making him blush. He's making me blush. But so your last album, triple platinum. You had 3 singles that went #1. Big check. What's the first tour you went out and bought?
Oh man, I bought a house. That was the first thing I bought was a house. Went and bought a house in Virginia.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You buy something for your mama?
Yeah, I bought her a crib too. Got her a little spot, you know what I mean? So, I hook Mom Dukes up, man. Got to do that.
She's like, my baby. Thank you, baby. Well, I don't want to keep you too long because I know you have to get back to shooting your video, but thank you, sir. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you. And thanks, Ralph McDaniels, everybody at Video Music Box, baby. All right, voodoo.
Peace.
D'Angelo was 51. D'Angelo's son, Michael Jr., whose mother is R&B songstress Angie Stone, who died tragically in an auto wreck back in March, told people, quote, "I am grateful for your thoughts and prayers during these very difficult times, as it has been a very rough and sad year for me. I ask that you please continue to keep me in your thoughts, as it will not be easy. But one thing that both my parents taught me was to be strong, and I intend to do just that." End quote. Michael Jr., who performs under the name Suavo Twain, is the oldest of D'Angelo's 3 children. He also has a daughter named Imani and a son named Morocco. D'Angelo's impact is undeniable. You can look at Trey Songz and Lloyd and see that he was their musical father. He had such a comprehensive body of work in those 3 albums. And it just goes to show that quality will always be more important than quantity. I had Brown Sugar on cassette, and I burned a hole in that tape from playing it so much. There's a record on there. If you know, you know. But those 4-track recorders, like the one he did his demos on, didn't have any effects on them, and everything went on tape. So you had to have real talent back then. No Fruity Loops or Pro Tools. Pancreatic cancer is a type of cancer that begins as a growth of cells in the pancreas, the organ that makes enzymes that help digest food and hormones that help manage blood sugar. The most common type of pancreatic cancer is pancreatic ductal adenocarcinoma. This type begins in the cells that line the ducts that carry digestive enzymes out of the pancreas. Pancreatic cancer is rarely found at its early stages when the chance of curing it is its greatest, but it often doesn't cause symptoms until the disease is advanced and it has spread to other organs. When they happen, signs and symptoms of pancreatic cancer may include belly pain that spreads to the sides of back, loss of appetite, weight loss, jaundice, light-colored or floating stools, dark-colored urine, itching, New diagnosis of diabetes or diabetes that's getting harder to control, pain and swelling in an arm or leg, which might be caused by a blood clot, and tiredness or weakness. Although it's not clear what causes pancreatic cancer, doctors have found some factors that might raise the risk of this type of cancer. These include smoking, a family history of pancreatic cancer, chronic inflammation of the pancreas known as pancreatitis, changes in the BRCA2 gene, obesity, and chronic alcohol use. For more information on pancreatic cancer, visit pancreatic.org. Rest in peace, D'Angelo. Chuck E. Cheese got booked. The rat is cooked. Yo, you all were wilding out over the summer. So this is in Tallahassee, Florida. You know, home of FAMU, you know. Police arrested Jamal Jones, 41, on charges of credit card theft, fraudulent use of a credit card, and criminal use of false identification. I'm sorry, y'all. I don't mean to laugh. This is wild. At the time of the arrest, Jones was at work playing the iconic mouse in the arcade. The video shows one woman trying to shield children while others ran away as the officers detained the masked man and put him in handcuffs. According to police, a woman reported her debit card missing a few weeks earlier and that she saw the card last inside of the Chuck E. Cheese on Sherrill Road. Charges for a smoke shop, a grocery store, and Whataburger appeared shortly after. Police records show the woman saw surveillance footage of Jones using her card at the grocery store and identified him as the suspect. Officers checked to make sure Jones was working at the location, and when they returned to make the arrest, he was already in a costume with, get this, the victim's credit card in his pocket. Remember what Freddie told us years ago about boys not knowing how to do a stunt right? Remember? It goes, the word I'm not going to say because it's an outdated cultural reference. Then girls, then boys. I mean, if you're gonna mop someone's debit card off the floor, nope, I'm not getting involved. I'm not. One of the arresting officers said, quote, the parents had beef with him for detaining Chuck E. Cheese, unquote. Jones was charged with theft. With theft of a credit card, criminal use of personal identification information, and fraudulent use of a card totaling over $100, according to reports, and is currently out on bond. That was from WKMG. Do you season your bacon? Social media has been in an uproar this week. I mean, what's new? Over people claiming that they season their bacon. Now listen, I don't think they mean with salt. I've known people to make candied bacon, but some people think salt is synonymous with seasoning. And yeah, when you're cooking other types of meat, you do want to use salt, but most bacons are already cured, meaning you don't need to put salt in it unless you're one of those serial killers who just put salt on everything. Do you know anyone like that? I know people who put salt on fruit. These people aren't pregnant either, by the way. I know a guy who puts salt on his fruit salad. You know how you go to the store, you get those little salt and pepper packets? He puts it on his fruit salad. What's going on? Social media gets very political with these food debates. Did you see the one about Wendy's? Now, I agree with that one. Wendy's with the yellow packaging was top tier Wendy's. They're active on social media too, so maybe they'll take heed and bring back the old fries that they got rid of back in 2010. McDonald's brought back their Monopoly game. Did you see that? Did you know it went away because a cop scammed them out of millions? Jerome P. Jacobson, a former police officer who was in charge of distributing the winning tickets to McDonald's across the country, stole $24 million worth of winning tickets for himself, his friends, and his family. Jacobson's stunt triggered an FBI probe that led to the arrest of him and 7 of his associates back in 2001. What you're looking at here is a clip from the 2020 HBO docuseries McMillions, which gives an insider's view into one of the most notorious fraud cases of the 1990s and early 2000s. Now, I know some of you are saying, McDonald's has always had Monopoly, and you're not wrong. They just promoted it under alternate names. But this version is an update of the original from back in the day. The fact that guy was a cop isn't surprising. Some of them be the biggest scammers. I mean, look what's going on with the NYPD allegedly paying for promotions. Abusers choose jobs that give them access to their vices. Why do some of you people think having sex with koalas is where chlamydia came from? This is why I'm against getting information from Al and them. You know your cousin Al, who thinks he knows everything, but he only gives you half the truth. Okay, boom, so check it. The strain that the koalas have is different from the strain seen as an STD in humans. Apparently, one of those Love Island girls said chlamydia came from men having sex with koalas. Now, if you're relying on a biology lesson from someone on a reality show, you're already cooked. Research from UC Davis College of Biological Sciences found that fish, birds, reptiles, and even amoebas can get infected with the bacteria that causes chlamydia. According to an NPR report, koalas were likely originally infected by contact with feces from other infected animals, spreading it from mother to offspring and then to each other. Scientists in Australia have been testing a vaccine to protect koalas against chlamydia since 2023. And last month, the vaccine was approved for what is the leading cause of death of koalas. Leave those precious babies out of your debauchery. I mean, this Love Island girl is part of the same demo who probably thinks they can treat STDs with juices and berries. This isn't Animal Crossing. You will burn. Wrap it up. Do you play Animal Crossing? The other night I was playing it, and this green pig comes up to me, and I'm like, who's this pig talking greasy? This is from Not Yay-Ro on that app I don't like, but I find very dope videos for us on. Look at this. We're so creative. Shout out to Pennsylvania. It's time for Pennsylvania foolishness. This video is from WPXI, Channel 11 in Pittsburgh.
Decided to bring along his alligator. Channel 11's Andrew Havranek is at the Wal-Mart in West Brownsville, Washington County, where shoppers say this takes things just a step too far.
Over the weekend, Channel 11 got emails about a shopper here at the West Brownsville Walmart bringing a service animal into the store. But that service animal isn't exactly what you would expect it to be. It was this alligator, and shoppers say they were stunned. These photos, provided exclusively to Channel 11, show an alligator appearing to wear a dress in one photo and a harness with a leash in another inside the West Brownsville Walmart.
No, that's something you probably see in Florida, but not here in Pennsylvania.
I don't think even in Florida they would have an alligator.
I was impressed he got it in the harness, actually, was the most impressive thing.
I spoke exclusively with the woman who sent me those photos and saw the gator on Friday. she didn't want to be identified.
I looked and I saw this alligator dressed up, standing in there, and his mouth was sticking out of the buggy. I didn't believe it.
Walmart's website says they only allow service animals outlined in the Americans with Disabilities Act. Those are dogs and miniature horses. In a statement, Walmart says they are aware of the alligator. Quote, while we aim to be inclusive, the safety of our customers and associates is our top priority. We are reaching out to the state of Pennsylvania for additional guidance, end quote. Sienna Sheffrin with Humane Animal Rescue of Pittsburgh says an alligator doesn't fall into either category under Pennsylvania or federal law.
There is no predictability to how that animal is going to act when it's around strange people, stressful environments, which Walmart is. And so there is no precautions there, and that can be rather dangerous.
The shopper who saw the alligator says she worries for people's safety, especially children.
I don't want to shop with alligators, so I don't plan on shopping there anymore.
People on social media who are from the area were saying they've eaten at restaurants, and the guy had the alligator there with him, and it didn't bother anyone. Yeah, I'm getting to go. Did you hear about Tyrese? Black Ty was arrested for animal cruelty after not one, not two, not three, but 4 of his Cane Corso dogs mauled his neighbor's Cavalier King Charles Spaniel.
911 calls released by police following a deadly dog attack in Metro Atlanta tied to actor Tyrese Gibson. The actor and singer bonded out of jail Friday on an animal cruelty charge. His dogs are accused of killing a neighbor's dog and terrorizing a neighborhood right next to the governor's mansion for months. Cody Alcorn has more from neighbors who say they've been trying to warn animal control and have been living in fear of Gibson's 100-pound dogs.
I'm 6'1" and I can fit in there.
This is Tyrese Gibson bragging about his Cane Corso's mini mansion on his Buckhead property. However, neighbors say the dogs often were outside. And now the reason he has a mugshot at the Fulton County Jail. Police say 4 of his dogs killed a neighbor's dog, a King Charles Spaniel. This is Henry. His owner, Harrison Parker, called 911 the next day.
It was just lying there. It had just been let out for 10 minutes. It's trained to be in a small area in our property.
Ring video shows the dogs growling and barking moments before the attack at a neighbor's front door.
They were right across the street at my neighbor's house.
Other neighbors called 911 following the deadly attack.
2 of them came in my backyard and attacked my wife, and I'm lucky we got in the house. They've been off the leash at least 30 times. We have videos of this, and animal control just keeps giving me lip service. Finally, a dog had to be killed before something possibly would be done.
Neighbors fearing the next attack could be on a person.
The King Corsos are terrorizing neighbors and getting out throughout the night and day, and people are terrified for their life.
These dogs have to go. People are going to die. He is an actor who is not there and not taking care of the situation.
That video was from WMAZ-TV. We love us some big-ass dogs, don't we? Get those dogs loose in Buckhead. My ATL folks know Buckhead is high post. They have their own security in Buckhead. Doesn't matter, though. I lived in the capital city, not far from my state's governor's mansion, and we had a neighbor who had 5 pit bulls, never had them leash, always beating them, cursing at them. One of them got loose and bit the girl down the street. But you know something? Bad behaviors don't exist in a vacuum, because not only was this neighbor breaking the HOA rules by having 4 more dogs than he should have, he was a squatter. He was a thief. He was an abuser. He had weapons he wasn't supposed to have because he was a felon. Serial baby father, you name it, just straight up pookie core. Oh well, the sheriff evicted them and I moved to a better town, so hey. Reading Rainbow is back with a new host. Mychal Threets, a librarian from Berkeley, California, went viral during the pandemic for sharing posts of what he calls library joy. In February 2024, Threets became PBS resident librarian. After facing personal mental health challenges, he quit his job as a librarian a month later with the intention to take his own life. Apparently, you all were bullying him on social media, and let me tell you something. Everyone isn't built for all that roasting and gagging and trolling shit you all like to do. Some people are really pure-hearted inside, and they will break. I don't play that shit. I will annihilate you. You'll be on life support. Don't try me, because I've seen too much. I don't like social media. And you know, I keep my distance. You all know that about me. Some of you act like high schoolers on those platforms. And you know, you won't be satisfied until you get sued like what's-her-face. You know, the one who's always lying. But you know, you all watch all that trash and you follow those pages. God forbid someone comes at you with facts and sources. To hell with credibility. But cement saute. But it was the joy of seeing the children at the library that kept him living. A few months later, Threets was offered Reading Rainbow. Michael Davies, an executive producer for Jeopardy, who also brought Who Wants to Be a Millionaire to the United States, began developing the Reading Rainbow reboot in 2020. There was no audition for the role, Davies said. As soon as his team suggested Threets, it immediately felt like the perfect fit for a show that was intended to be produced natively on a social media platform. Threets says, quote, "It wasn't what saved me, but it helped me stay another day," unquote. On his IG last week, Threets wrote, quote, "There have been two hosts in the history of Reading Rainbow, the legend of literacy, Levar Burton, and me, Mychal Threets, a librarian. I was raised on Reading Rainbow. Levar Burton is my hero. I am a reader, I'm a librarian because Levar Burton and Reading Rainbow so powerfully made us believe we belong in books. We belong everywhere. I'm so happy for all of us that Reading Rainbow is returning. You all did this. We're flying twice as high, butterflies in the sky. Stay tuned," unquote. The reboot's first episode aired October 4th on the Sony Pictures Television Kizuko YouTube channel, and new episodes air every Saturday. See, this is how it's supposed to happen. You never know who's watching you and planning something good for you. I always say the best opportunities are the ones we get when we're just being ourselves. And he may not agree with this, but I think Reading Rainbow did save his life. I don't solicit guests for this show, but this Mychal is someone who I'd love to have on here for you guys. Not even in the little window next to me, but I'd actually go to the library for him. We need more Mychal Threets in this world. The original Reading Rainbow, funded in part by the Department of Education, ran from 1983 until 2006 with host Levar Burton. And check this out. The show's goal was to mitigate children's learning losses over summer vacation. You know something? In the summertime, when I was growing up, we would have camp at the library and read books. The group that read the most books got a pizza party and got to go to a baseball game. And I think I still have my bat pen. Hold on a second. It says, "Grand Slam Summer, the Free Library of Philadelphia, and the Phillies." I don't know if you guys can see it. You know, if you know me, you know I love libraries and museums and aquariums and planetariums. I can go to one of those and just get lost for hours. Levar Burton is a class act all the way. When you get to a certain point in your career. You pass the torch. One day, the Cris David Show will be on television and the video. And I'll do it for as long as I want, but the time will come when I'm going to retire. Because I don't want to be 60-something years old, still working and taking up a time slot that could be given to someone half my age who really do it justice. And when that time comes, I plan on guiding and mentoring that young man so that he can do it and do it well. Plus, I want to travel while my joints are still good. Needs and dreams. Needs and dreams. Levar was who we all grew up watching, but Mychal is the future in every sense of his identity. He's Black, but also mixed. He's neurodivergent. He's a public servant. He advocates for mental health. There's something all of us can identify within him. But Mychal wanted to peace out because people were being cruel to him. We're glad you didn't, Mychal. And, you know, we really have to ground ourselves and say a protection prayer before going on these apps. Or don't go on them at all. Or take a damn break. There's so many young people dying now. I'm talking barely out of high school, barely in their 20s. What the world is going on down in Houston? Trigger warning, if you're not interested in this story, skip ahead to Kamala Harris checking both fools.
With so many rumors swirling about the bodies found in the bayous, KHOU 11 Investigates is taking a closer look. Our team went back 3 years and analyzed the cause and manner of death for each body found. Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski joins us now with what he learned. Jeremy.
Mia, our data comes from the Harris County Institute of Forensic Sciences, the medical examiner's office, which reports an increase over the past 3 years. In 2023, it examined 9 bodies in Houston bayous, 20 bodies in 2024, and so far this year, 24 bodies. Now here's a breakdown for those 3 years. The manner of death in 23 cases is undetermined, meaning it's not possible to establish circumstances of death with reasonable medical certainty. The medical examiner ruled 15 deaths an accident, with 13 of those accident by drownings. 9 cases are pending, 3 suicide, and 3 cases were ruled a homicide. Now, we looked a little further into those homicide cases and learned Houston police made arrests in 2 of them. The 3rd case is still under investigation, Mia.
Now, Jeremy, I know there's still a lot of questions surrounding U of H student Jade McKissick, whose body was found in Brays Bayou last month. What's the latest with that case?
Yeah, the manner of death in that case is still pending. There's needing to be more information and further testing before the investigation can be completed.
Jeremy, appreciate the deep dive. Thank you.
A story here tonight, the bodies being found in Houston bayous. Houston police report another body was just recovered today from the Buffalo Bayou area near Jensen and East downtown. So if you've been watching and keeping track alongside us, that is 4 bodies recovered in 4 days. Today is Thursday, and sadly, a U of H student has been identified as one of the bodies recovered from the Brays Bayou area on September 15th. That's Monday. She was reported missing days before. Sherman DeSell has been covering this story for a couple of days now, and Sherman, it is scary stuff here, but just kind of fill us in on what we know so far.
Yeah, it's definitely a cause of concern for a lot of our viewers, and many have made some speculations online about something maybe more nefarious happening here, and that's understandable. Our Fox 26 count is now at 13 bodies found in Houston bayous this year by law enforcement and first responders. Remember, the 22 bayous are spread out for miles, so it's a lot of ground to cover, and that comes with tough investigations. Here's what we know. HPD confirms a male body was recovered from Buffalo Bayou on Jensen Street in Edo on Thursday. Our camera caught officers and a dive team on the scene around 3 p.m. There were reports of a man jumping into the water there. We're waiting to hear more on this. And remember when we reported 2 bodies recovered from local bayous on Monday, September 15th? One of them was identified as 20-year-old Jade Sage McKissick. She was a U of H student, reported missing on September 11th, last seen that day near the 3700 block of McGregor by a restaurant. She was a junior communications and advertising major. In a letter sent to students, U of H describes her as a campus resident and a student employee and a friend to many in their community. We're talking about a lot of bodies in a city where many people walk, run, and bike the bayou areas every day. So we visited an area near the White Oak Bayou to see how people have been reacting to the discoveries. A lot of people are just wondering, what's the deal? HPD hasn't really given us a lot of information either. What questions do you have?
I mean, is there somebody paying attention to these? Is there more details to investigation? I don't know. It's just kind of scary at this point. When it's that many coincidences. There's not such a coincidence that happens multiple times.
There's long-term plans and there's short-term plans. I would hope that the short-term plans are in effect, and something is being done. Someone's patrolling or someone's watching over cameras or lights or anything's being done right now.
One of the guys who just said, is anyone paying attention to these?
Yeah.
That really brings us right back to HPD. So have we heard anything from HPD on these?
We haven't. I have been on the scene of the last two recoveries, hoping to hear something from public information officer. Haven't heard anything. We've reached out. They say don't anticipate hearing anything right now. We did reach out to the county forensics department to see if they'd be willing to say something. They didn't give an on-camera interview, but we are requesting more details from all of these instances, especially in the last couple of days. So hopefully we'll get some more information. But we hear what you're concerned about wondering if it's something more that we should be paying attention to, and we're trying to get to the bottom of it.
Yeah, we'll certainly continue to ask those questions, Chairman.
Jade McKissick's autopsy showed no signs of trauma or foul play, which seems very odd. And if she were my baby girl, I would have to get an independent autopsy, because how in the world did she end up in that bayou? Something's being covered up in Houston. I mean, since 2015, they've been finding bodies. And I'm moving on from this story because it's making my stomach turn. Justice for Jade McKissick. Justice for Trey Reed. The results from the independent autopsy paid for by Colin Kaepernick, despite what you all have been seeing on social media, haven't been released. A few posts online were saying that he had suffered blunt force trauma to the back of the head, but Trey's family is saying the results are inconclusive due to lack of evidence. What's going on between the shootings, the political podcast nuts, the hazing deaths? Campus just isn't safe. We were talking about Mississippi, where 8 people were killed and a child was shot at separate homecomings last weekend. And these aren't hood campuses either. These are schools out in the country on sprawling acres where apparently security is just so lax. The gun laws there are interesting. If you have kids in college on campus now, make sure they're sharing their locations with you. Fall rush just passed. A lot of them are online right now. Be safe and be smart. Those letters will be there. Don't do anything ridiculous that you don't want to do. And no, you won't go to hell like Bishop what's-his-name said. I mean, honestly, this is hell. People who are jealous because they didn't get to do something, or they lack the confidence, or they didn't have the degree or the transcripts, they'll put down others and say all kinds of negative things just to make themselves feel better about not being able to do what they want. Years ago, I had this landlord, black guy. He came over to snake the drain, and he saw this painting I keep in my bathroom with my frat on it. And he made this comment, I would never pay to have friends. And mind you, it was completely unprovoked. He just wanted to be a sassy auntie. So I go, neither did I, but you might want to look into it because you don't have any. His cheap pumpkin-headed ass avoided me like the plague after that. Mind your business. Keep your comments to yourself. Everything doesn't need a quit. Kamala Harris is currently on tour promoting her book 107 Days, which chronicles her 2024 presidential campaign The book is currently #1 on the New York Times bestseller list for combined print and ebook nonfiction. Last week, while MVP was on tour stops in both Chicago and DC, she encountered some mother hecklers who quickly FAFO'd.
I'm not president. And if you want to talk about legacy, let's talk about the legacy of mass deportation. Of people not voting and Donald Trump.
Your legacy is genocide! Your legacy is genocide! Shame on you! Your legacy is genocide!
You know what? I am not president of the United States. You want to go to the White House and talk to him? Then go on and do that.
And we should never let somebody else's limited ability to see who we are limit who we think and know we are. Let that not be a limiting factor in your life, because they'll figure it out soon enough. They'll figure out who you are soon enough. And you know, I sometimes think about, you know what, I am not president of the United States.
Congratulations to Cammie Crawford, by the way. That's who's interviewing her. She just got engaged. You know Cammie from Catfish. I think they got the message, MVP. But why are you all going out and buying tickets to see someone you hate? Allegedly, someone from the current administration bought and paid for those hecklers. In the book, former VP Harris talks about who did and did not support her when she first announced her run, the gaslighting she received from certain politicians, how she missed home-cooked meals while she was complaining. And I could relate to the chapter where she was talking about things going wrong in her house while she was gone. I won't spoil what she said, but 107 Days was a good read. I just didn't like that she gave so many concessions to podcasters. There's a chapter where she talks about the interview she was supposed to have with the Fear Factor dude, and he kept rescheduling. Everyone thinks they're a journalist these days. They don't fact check. They're rude to their guests, and the things they say and do are just downright offensive. Behind the scenes, there were fights, profuse rescheduling, and all kinds of behavior that would get them fired from a reputable news outlet. Mariah Carey went on that streamer show, you know, the one who had Ray J running around with an erection, rubbing on his co-host, and had the guy rubbing baby oil on his chest. Them teenagers, Mariah's kids, rock and roll, watch him, but his demographic isn't buying her music. They barely buy the artist in their own demo, so they damn sure aren't buying Mariah's, who's old enough to be their parent or grandparent. There's something with that generation and their obsession with age, though. And, we weren't like that. I don't consume that type of content, but I did watch this one, and he was all over the place. Then a few weeks later, he said he didn't benefit from having Mariah on his stream. He's a brat. I'm not a podcaster, streamer, or influencer, and I don't fault MVP Harris or her team. She had never lost a campaign, and she wanted their votes. But after his first reschedule, we would have been done. Free Wendy! Look at Wendy at Fashion Week with Lil Kim, Big Mama Queen B.
Soji. Yeah, I'm here. Hi. Listen, get a telephone number to get you there.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna break your gear now.
Answering. That's July 18th. Can you? Okay. Yes. Go ahead, Wendy. Oh my God.
Look amazing,
I love you, Wendy.
Hopefully this means Wendy's getting better and these two are on speaking terms. When Wendy was doing her talk show, Kim was scheduled to be on, but she didn't show. And it may not have been intentional. Wendy didn't steal How You Doing from a drag queen trans woman named Brittany. I don't know why that rumor is going around, but again, some of you all will believe everything some fool in front of a grass wall with a neon sign and a mic in their face says. How You Doing came from Shantae, who was an alter ego of the now Christian comedian D. Lee, who was Wendy's co-host on the world famous Dream Team morning show on Power 99 in Philly. The show ran from 1999 to 2001 with Wendy, Quincy Harris, aka Q Deezy, D. Lee, LaRonda Upshur, and Colby Cole. Listeners would call and email Shantae for advice, and when she came on the air, she'd say, "Ooh, how you doing?" With Follow Me by Elias, Follow Me, that song, playing in the background, and singers going, "Shantae, Shantae, Shantae." When Wendy left Power 99 in the summer of 2001 to do afternoons at WBLS in New York City, her producer, Artie, would do the How You Doing whenever they talked about someone who Wendy thought was okay. Stop lying on Michelle Obama's internet. Do you have a work nickname? Look at this. Newspaper has an issue every day. Olympic flame, they never go out. Oh, wow. Sensor light gets activated when someone walks past. They're the worst. Do your work and mind your business. Bluetooth only works when paired. Stormtrooper always missing. Wikipedia full of information, but you can't be sure it's true. They're like Al, huh? Blister shows up after the hard work is done. Broken arrow doesn't work and can't be fired. Ninja turtle, turtle to work, ninja to home. 404 can't be found. That's a good. Credit card always takes credit for someone else's work. Teflon, no matter how many times you tell them, nothing sticks. Speed bump, always slowing everyone down. Lava lamp, looks good, but not very bright. Levi's always disappears at 5:01. Alexa only works when asked. Daisy, some daisies in, some daisies out. Wheelbarrow only works when pushed. Pothole, everyone tries to avoid them. Those are genius. I'd say I'm Levi's. I'm not staying longer than I'm scheduled to unless you're paying me double. I'm also 404. I'm taking my breaks like the people who smoke. They're always 404. Don't hit my jack either. We'll talk when I'm back at my desk because, you work people really don't like boundaries. Which ones are you? info@thecrisdavidshow.com. Before we get out of here, we got an advice email a while back, and I was conflicted as to whether or not we should wait to answer it on the panel or if I should just do it solo. If you're reaching out to the show for advice, it's something that has a bit of urgency. So we're going to do our best. Anonymous says they're 32 and from California. They didn't say if they were male or female, and not that it matters because this is something that affects everyone. It says, "Hey, Cris David, I like your show, and I listen while I'm on my way to appointments. I'm a real estate agent, and I recently got my broker license. Congratulations. I wanted to have a party to celebrate getting my license, so I reached out to all of my friends and colleagues that I've met over the years. I reached out to one of my best friends from high school, and their response was, quote, 'I didn't know you were still doing real estate. Who is coming to the party and do I need to bring anything?' Unquote. That was a weird response from them because I always support them when they do something. They declined my Evite and sent me a text which read, quote, 'Can't come that weekend, talk soon,' unquote. I responded, quote, 'Okay, thanks for letting me know,' unquote, and I haven't heard from them since. The party was great and I received plenty of well wishes from everyone who attended. I forgot to mention earlier that I'm very active on social media and I can see when they look at my stories, but they never like or comment on any of them. Also, they also never congratulated me when I was making sales and they didn't congratulate me for becoming a broker. What should I do?' Block them. Delete them from your followers and move on. They're not your friend and they don't like you. He or she, whoever this person is, they act like they're jealous of you. A friend doesn't withhold praise or acknowledgement. This person knows good and well what you're up to and that you were made broker, which, by the way, is an accomplishment anywhere, but especially in California, where you have to be working as an agent for a certain amount of time. Congratulations again. But it sounds like they've chosen to ignore you out of spite. You don't need people like that in your orbit. Just be grateful for the times, the good times you had, and know that people come into our lives for reasons, seasons, or lifetimes, and their season is over. Look out for yourself. I've been through similar things with friends and even family, and listen, I just move on. Match energy also. If you go to things and you support and text and call, but they don't, be done. They're not a friend. People criticize me for being so cutthroat, but there are too many people out in the world who will be a supportive friend. But thank you for thinking so highly of our show to help you with this, and let us know how things are going. I had a friend ask me, "Are you still doing your show?" And I go, "Are you not subscribed?" I guess I was too real in that moment because he really couldn't say anything else. Don't ask me stupid questions. Just like you know how to watch those other YouTubers, you know how to watch the Cris David Show. It's nothing like it. Wait. Then I had someone else who's now an ex-friend. This person called my phone and said to me, "Are you wearing one of those beard weaves? I watched your show, but I had to call you because it looked like you had on one of those beard weaves." Keep in mind, I just saw this person and took them to the hospital because they thought they had COVID. They saw me up close and personal and just had to be messy and spread misery. Listen, don't stand for mess, Anonymous, and thank you again for your letter. People will try to come back into your life after they mess up. Don't let them. Change your locks because they like to see if their keys still work. Listen, you all, don't end up on the Jumbotron like Dame Dash did, calling other men gay as an insult. How you doing? You all need to stop defining masculinity by how someone acts. I remember when I first started going to clubs, the DJ put on Cassidy, I'm a Hustler. And so we all went out to the dance floor to do, you know, our little two-step. They get asked about. Anyway, and these guys holding up the wall, ice grilling and mean mugging, acting all hard, talking about that's that Mo shit. Out of probably 50 guys that were in the club, probably 60 or 65 women and 50 guys. These were the only two guys acting like that. Standing over there looking like Black Beavis and Butthead. What did Trina and Tamara say? If you didn't want to dance, you should have stayed at home. I'm glad the younger generation isn't feeding into that men don't do insert blank nonsense. This video is from a young man named Kadeem Tiam. He's the one with the locks. He films him and his friends from Hunter College while they do activities around town that young Black men aren't typically perceived to partake in.
Maybe on this last exhale, you lift even higher.
Bad man.
Yeah.
Oh, it smells good though. I ain't gonna lie.
Put some magic dust in my food. She put magic dust in my food, bro. Nah, it's mandatory. What's mandatory? This is the key ingredient. You need the mustard. This is the key.
Oh wait, yeah, I put that on salad. Like lick it.
I see some.
Protect them. Listen, you better know how to cook. Food delivery apps fees are insane in New York City. They're insane where I live, an hour away. But it's good to see individualism dying out with Gen Z too. We don't need to be like that. We need each other more than anything, especially now. Do we care about Cardi and Stefan? And Cardi talking about why she keeps getting pregnant? What about Eddie Winslow, Darius McCrary getting captured at the U.S.-Mexico border over unpaid child support? 4 years. What about Nicki blaming Jay for why she's canceling her album? No. Crickets? Okay. I am your host, Cris David, and this is The Cris David Show. You can always get in touch with me at info@thecrisdavidshow.com. Thanks for listening and watching. Tell your friends, tell your mama, tell your daddy, tell your baby daddy, tell your boyfriend, tell your sister, tell your cat, tell your dog, tell your doctor. Tell everyone to take a look. It's in a book. And also on The Cris David Show. You can follow me on Instagram at Cris David TV. Follow our show at The Cris David Show on Instagram. And subscribe to The Cris David Show on YouTube. You can also visit chrisdavidshow.com. There you'll find everything you need to know about the show. Be kind and be well.